As we continue with 11 Alive's coverage of the trial of Andrea Snyder.
Kelly, we're back on the record. Mr. Morgan, you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
You're quite welcome.
Mrs. Citron, you have had a chance to review your testimony from the Newman trial, is that correct? And in the question...
Ms. Citron, you have to answer yes or no because
Yes.
the court report has to give you a response.
Yes.
And again, you were asked in that case, as you were in this case, about what Andrea said in regards to whether or not she was interested in Mr. Newman if she was not married. Is that right?
Correct.
And after having refreshed your memory with that transcript, do you recall what you said?
Maybe if she was not married, she would have been interested. However, she loved her husband and was not interested.
So your testimony...
That is what she said. But I could also tell she was lying.
Objection, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. What's the objection?
Yeah. Objection, she cannot state her opinion as to whether or not a witness was not telling the truth. It was not responsive to these.
All right. I will sustain the objection and have it removed. That last response was non-responsive to your question. Next question, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, Judge. Andrea told you about it, that her boss had professed his love to her, right?
Yes.
Did she ever say that she professed her love back to her boss?
No, I was more focused on what was going on with her and Rusty, so we immediately got back to Rusty.
Did she tell you she had any romantic feelings for her boss?
Again, if she had not been married, I asked her if she thought he was good looking. She said he's dark and professional. But romantic feelings, I don't recall that now.
Did she tell you she had any type of sexual relations with her boss?
No, but what did happen is I asked her point blank if something had already happened between her and her boss. And I could tell that she was lying to me when she said no.
One second. Hold on. We're going to have some control. Ms. Citron, what I need you to do, you can explain answers if they need to be explained, but I need you to listen to the lawyer, respond to his question. All right. Next question.
Okay. Ms. Citron, I'll tell you, your subjective belief of what you thought is not what I'm asking.
Objection, Your Honor. I would ask that counsel ask questions.
I'm going to sustain that objection, Mr. Morgan. I will direct that you ask a question, and she will respond.
What did she say, yes or no?
I'm sorry, will you repeat the first question?
You asked her whether had anything already happened. What did she say, yes or no?
After hesitating and looking away from me, she said no.
Okay. And you were someone that y'all shared the most intimate details of your sex lives with one another, right?
She has never told me anything about her sex life with Rusty.
You were asked in the interview with Detective Thompson about Andrea's morals and ethics, is that right?
About her morals and ethics?
Morals and ethics.
I don't recall, but maybe you'll refresh my memory. Okay.
Do you recall what you said when asked about Andrea's morals and ethics?
And I object, Your Honor. I believe her answer was, I don't recall whether or not the detective asked.
Okay. I didn't hear her response because her voice was feigning a little bit. I couldn't hear the response. You may be correct, Ms. Hill. I'm not saying you're not. Let me just do this. Ma'am, if you could, I'm having some difficulty hearing some of the responses.
Okay.
Can you just give that last response on the record because I couldn't hear it?
Okay. Would you go ahead and say what you were asking?
If you don't remember, that's fine. But do you recall being asked a question about Andrea's morals and ethics and your opinion of those?
I don't recall, but maybe you could refresh my memory, is what I said.
If you don't recall, that's fine.
Okay.
Do you recall, go ahead, do you recall saying that Andrea had high morals and ethics and you did not...
Objection, Your Honor. I think she just said she didn't recall.
Well, I'm trying to refresh her memory. She asked me
Well,
to.
that's not the proper way to refresh her memory.
All right, lawyers. Let me do this. I'm going to listen to everyone.
Yes, Judge.
I'm going to listen to the objections, no matter how loud they are to you.
Yes, Judge.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to overrule that objection. I will allow Mr. Morgan to ask a question. She's on cross, and I will give him an opportunity to ask whatever question. If you think it's inappropriate, you may make an objection.
Yes, Judge.
You may ask your question.
you recall telling Detective Thompson that you believe Andrea had high morals and ethics and would not have an affair. On January 21st, 2000.
Well, let her answer the question, Ms. Moore.
Did you say that?
Well, I know I was certainly hoping that.
Did you recall saying that? Answer
Are you
yes or
go-
no.
Are you going to let me expound, or do I just have
No,
to say
you
yes or
can
no?
certainly say yes
hold
or
on,
no.
hold on, Lori. Mr. Boyd, excuse me. You may answer yes or no. You can explain your answer
Okay.
if it needs to be explained. So answer his question, and then you may explain.
Okay. Yes.
You do remember it now.
In the months after Rusty's murder, I wanted to believe everything that Andrea told me. I tried to believe everything that she was telling me.
Now, this conversation on January 21st was after the September 1st meeting at Fuddruckers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The Halloween party. That was an annual occasion that Rusty and Andrea hosted, is that right?
No. My parents hosted it.
Okay, they were there.
They were there, yes.
And lots of children.
Yes.
And at that time, Sophia and Ian would have been 5 and 2, is that right? Your kids were there?
My kid, yes, her kids were there.
And all the grown-ups and all the children in the costumes?
Yeah.
Just approximately how many people?
Oh my gosh. At my parents' house, we maybe had 5 families. I don't recall.
5 families with children?
Mm-hmm.
And Rusty and Ian were dressed as Scooby-Doo characters.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Rusty said he had to dress like Fred to save his marriage, to dress like a cartoon character.
Mm-hmm.
And you said there was tension at the Halloween party with children? Or tension between Rusty and Andrea? Is that what you testified?
They were not talking a whole lot, the two of them that I saw.
Okay. They're a couple with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old at a Halloween party, and they're not talking a lot.
I was
Did that
talking.
shock you? You and your husband were there?
Yes.
And your 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
And how old were they?
My children, it's 2010. My son right now is 8.5, almost 9, and my daughter's turning 6. So
How many other people were there at the party?
a lot of people, but there always were a lot of people.
And Rusty is in the boat taking people out on rides.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe the boat? Is it a pontoon boat, ski boat?
Like a ski boat.
A ski boat could hold 6 people. Do you remember it's inboard, outboard, whether you could sit on the back or whether it had a motor?
It was an outboard.
Okay. And so there's a limited number of people who could ride on the boat at any given time.
That's right. Just like always, to be honest.
And there's a house there where Andrea was.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty's out giving people rides.
Mm-hmm. As always.
And
However,
where
the
were
timing,
Sophia?
it was the timing that was different. Yes, it was always shuffling. I know where you're going. You're asking me, were they always shuffling people and switching people and so forth? Yes, of course, but it was always like that. But he always waited till the end of the party. My thoughts on that as to why he waited to the end of the party in previous years was potentially a gas situation. Maybe it was because he didn't like the boat getting messed up. Everyone had to take off their shoes, etc. But on this particular instant, it was notably different. So much so that he did not want to even pull the boat in to speak with Andrea when Andrea was trying to tell him that my family needed a life jacket. So much so that I dove into the water to swim out to the boat to get the life jacket. The situation was much different between the two of them that day versus other birthday parties.
Because he was taking people out on the lake all day long.
Rusty was the kind of guy that was always happy, always had the biggest smile on his face, and that day, it was different.
Did you?
It was different.
Let her finish. Still trying to need a break. It's okay if you need a break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a break. Step into the jury room. We're going to take a few-minute break. All rise.
All right, the judge is taking a break. This coverage of the trial of Andrea Snyderman and Shayna Citron has been on the stand over the last 90 minutes. This is our second break that we have had. Judge Adams stepping away from the bench now and Ms. Citron remaining in the witness chair. It has been a very emotional rendering for her this morning, talking about Rusty Snyderman at a party on Lake Oconee, and that Rusty was in a much different mood than what she had been accustomed to seeing him in.
That's what she says. I note she's sitting in the chair, not even getting up to take a break, composing herself, so apparently this is having a lot of impact on her.
What do you make of that, of just sitting there? Do you see witnesses that do that?
Usually the prosecution goes up and hands them a tissue.
It's your duty to discuss the case in order to reach
It's kind of interesting. They're just all leaving her alone and letting her sit there and compose herself. But it may be because she doesn't want to get up and have to walk past the Snyderman family.
We are taking a look at Andrea Snyderman, who is smiling and engaging some of her friends and family with her back to Shayna Citron. And
Sending out tweets, it looks like, from her cell phone just a moment ago.
oftentimes in these trials like this, they are defined by what is said, but in this unusual case where there's so much emotion and so many sidebars, what is not being said right now seems to speak quite loudly.
It does. A lot of times things that you can't see on TV, but if you're in the courtroom you can just feel it. This may be a very powerful moment for the prosecution, actually. The defense is trying to score points, but Ms. Citron's so emotional that I'm not sure how far the defense is getting right now.
Can you talk a little bit about the prosecution's lilt through all of this? I mean, we're hearing some objections to the line of questioning from J. Tom Morgan, but aside from that, this is their period to sort of sit by and to assess the words from Shayna Citron.
From a strategic standpoint, one of the things you don't want to do as a prosecutor is rescue your witness too much. If it's going over the top, you'll object, but you just have to let them get the brunt of it sometimes, and you prepare them for that ahead of time. That's a part of the
It's kind of like a bullfighter, right? Just getting out of the way.
You just sometimes you just got to let them take whatever's going to happen to them. Ms. Citron certainly knew that she was going to get grilled by the defense, and she's dealing with it the best she can, apparently, and the prosecution, to their credit, just sitting back and saying, let it happen, and that's all you can do.
We want to encourage you to submit questions for Kelly Burke, former district attorney from Houston County and practicing lawyer. If you have any questions for him, feel free to submit them to me via email, jhullinger, Hullinger, at 11alive.com. Or you can also reach out via Twitter, and that is at 11Hullinger. And one woman from Florida said, you know, Jeff, when you give out those addresses, please do them much slower. So I will slow down again, at 11Hullinger, Hullinger.
Or listen faster.
Yeah. Too many years covering sporting events where the action goes by very quickly, and if you don't speak quickly, you'll miss out. But we're certainly not missing out on our coverage here, as we will stay with you through the duration of the trial. And Judge Gregory A. Adams back on the bench, and we resume with Shayna Citron.
Ms. Citron, are you ready to continue? Okay. Mr. Morgan, are you ready to continue?
Yes, Judge.
There's a court report here. Okay. Let me get my court report. All right, Kelly, I was looking for you. We're good. No problem, we're good.